two, rock on. Check it out, y'all. 1, 2. Young lady, rock on. Check it out, y'all. 1, 2. Young lady, rock on. Check it out, y'all. 1, 2. Young lady, rock on. 1, 2. Young lady, rock on.
Once again, we are back. I have another legendary hip-hop icon with me. I have the original Clark Kent from the Herculoids. Clark Kent, what's up, bro?
Hey, it's all good.
Now, you're one of them individuals who hear the name, but you never see the face.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm here today, so just to let the face match the name. Because I understand there's another brother out there that rode my wave, you know, and that's all well and good. You know, I don't get money in this game. I'm supporting my family, doing what I do. But it's time now to let everybody see the face that goes with that name, Clark Kent. Like, I'm not a myth, I'm a real person, and I'm here right now.
So, from day one, hip-hop, you was definitely a part of the original formation.
I ran hip-hop.
That's right. What was you known for exactly?
I was known for dancing with my partners, the twins, and from dancing, Herc took a liking to me. And I'm gonna tell you something that's golden in this culture that nobody knows. When we used to break dance, you know, Herc took a liking to me. He used to follow us to different parties because me and the twins would go all over. We would go to Smokies, we would go to Plamulator rooms throughout the Bronx, and we would also go to Chuck Center because they had a dance contest.
That's my hood.
And we used to love winning that dance contest, and me and the twins used to take turns winning that every other week. And once we got wind of what Herc was doing on the west side, I think I must have caught about 2 of them parties at the Plamulator room at 1520 Cedric. And Herc even got us on 8mm at one of them parties, me and the twins. And to make a long story short, Herc would gas up his crew from the west side, you know, to come at us dancing wise. And after I would dust all of them off, one day Herc got real arrogant. He came in my neighborhood at the Silver Door on 3rd Avenue on 170th Street and Claremont Parkway and brought a cat with him named Rossi, who was from his crew that was supposed to, you know, burn Clark Kent. And at that time, my name wasn't Clark Kent. I was going by Poison. Okay, and to give you some more history in this same breath, the name Clark Kent came about because Herc was clowning me because he just anticipated his guy burning poison at my hometown in a club in my hometown. And we're standing around and Herc is letting everybody know there's this dance contest that's getting ready to happen and the winner gets a lifetime pass to Cool Herc Productions for life. And he said, Rossi, and he pubbed his man like he should, that's his boy, brought him from the west side, pubbed him real well and said he's gonna go against Clark Kent. And even I'm standing there with the twins going, who the fuck is he talking about? They said, he's talking about you.
So he gave you that name.
And that's how the name Clark Kent came about, because after I took care of business on Sex Machine with Rossi, everybody knew Clark Kent dusted Rossi off. And the name just stuck from there. You know.
You said Sex Machine, that's crazy because I kind of left that out earlier. Give It Up or Turn It Loose was definitely, now I might say that was definitely one of the hip hop breakdance anthems.
That was the anthem.
Yeah,
for breakdance.
breakdance and Give It Up, Turn It Loose definitely was it.
And then when Herc started the merry-go-round, remember, anybody who was there at that time, they knew Herc only had one copy of Apache, okay? And he used to mix it with Scorpio and then bring it back. And yeah, that worked out because, you know, it was a new thing, but in my mind, I always said, if he had another one of those Apache records, that would be better than mixing Apache with Scorpio.
Yeah.
So, as me and Timmy Tim, and I want to shout Timmy Tim out because that's my first protege in this game. Like when I got down with Herc and Cole, me and Timmy became real cool. Timmy kind of took me under his wing and we hung out and we became good friends. But to make a long story short, we was at the Hevelo one day and I knew Herc's birthday party was coming up. And I said to myself, a good present for her would be a second copy of that Apache record. Now back then, records was colored black. You didn't know what the record was because we didn't want you to know.
Yeah.
And that's why people came to Kool Herc's, because he was the only one spinning that joint. So we at the Hevelo one night, and I'm watching, and Herc walks to the door, him and Coca, you know, doing their thing, because it's late now, you know, they done made the money already. So they out there doing their celebrity thing, and I said to Timmy, let me see the album cover of that Apache. And me and Timmy cool at this point, so he showed it to me. Mike Viner's Incredible Bongo Rock Band.
Exactly.
I said, now put that shit away before Herc comes. Because if Herc see this, he gonna go through the roof.
Yeah.
So no problem. So now, I had a little job after school where I used to do this little messenger job, and during my trips back and forth delivering packages, I would go to like Jimmy's Music World, Tower Records, and look in the dollar section. Cats don't know about that when you buy vinyl, they had a dollar section where they put all the old joints there,
shit.
and they were $1.99. And I was in Jimmy's Music World, and I was digging in the crate, and I found 2 copies. The last 2 copies of Mike Viner's Incredible Bongo Rock Band. And prior to me finding this record, there was a kid named Dutch Master that the Twins got down with. And he played on 169th Street in the park one day when Herc was there. And I was always intrigued by DJing, and he let me play. And Herc being there, you know, kind of like coached me on, but he saw potential. You know, raw potential at that time, because there was no headphones back then. You just knew where the break was because the record was dark at that point. You know, and you played by ear. So because Herc had seen me play, you know, he knew I had, you know, aspirations to want to play music. So to make a long story short, it was Herc's birthday night, and I walked into Hevelo. And I walked up to Herc while he was on the set, and I said, happy birthday, shook his hand, and I gave him the album. He couldn't believe it because he couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Nobody could find this album. And I found it. And I gave it to him. And Lord and behold, Herc took it out. He was like a kid with a new toy. He opened that album as quick as I gave it to him, put it on, and cut Apache. And everybody anticipated Scorpio coming. But all of a sudden, Apache came back.
Yeah.
And everybody went nuts. Because now they know, oh, it's on now. He got 2 of those.
2 of them. Exactly.
You know, and even Timmy ran up to the stage and he looked in the crate because he wanted to see this album. And Herc like, Timmy, what are you doing? Get out of here. You know, and long story short, the night went on about 2, 3 in the morning. You know, Timmy's playing at the birthday party. I'm sitting over by the bar, and Herc came up to me and he says, Clark, would you like to give Timmy a break? And I said, sure. And that was my introduction into DJing with Herc. Opposed to being a B-boy. That was my graduation from B-boy to DJ. And I never gave that spot up until JC came along, and he came at the right time because at that point I was already looking at my exit strategy.
Yeah.
Because at that point I'm getting a little older, want to have a wife and some kids at some point, and supporting them at that time, I didn't see it being done through this culture. So I took JC under my wing, and he was patient. He did everything I asked him to do. He was calm, and he had a raw skill, but it was raw talent.
Okay.
You know, I had to show him how to work into that raw talent. You know, I showed him how to keep control of a party, of an event. Because like dudes back then, you know, like Flash, everybody knew Flash was gonna cut Low Down 300 times. You know, that's how it was back then. They knew, you know, Theodore was gonna cut, you know, certain records. But what I learned from coming up under Herc and Cole was how to control an event. So we would come in and we had a plan. And the plan was based on the audience we were entertaining that particular night.
Exactly.
So you don't come in and shoot your load at 11 o'clock.
No.
Because now you done shot your load, it's 11 o'clock. People are looking to party to 4 a.m.
Yeah, long night.
Yeah, you know, so what Herc taught me and what I learned from being under Herc and Coke was how to control an event. See, they were businessmen. Where them other dudes was for hire. By the time I got down with Herc, there was no, oh, Herc, we're gonna pay you $500 to play for us. That didn't exist. Like, that was a disrespect. You follow what I'm saying? Herc would come in and he would say, you got a spot, I like it, close to my people that come follow me, how much is the rent? We rent the spot, but then once we rented the spot, we had to put on the production. So we would learn how to come in, give the hustlers some, because we had this saying, ain't no fun unless we all get some. You know, and when we say that, we mean the hustlers got to get some, the B-boys got to get some, you know, the breakers got to take a break now and let the free dance people get they groove on, and we would play certain music to cater to those different those different parts of the party, and people kind of knew what the recipe was. And what I used to do is, because I learned under two business heads. See, I didn't like Coke and Herc. They loved music, but they were businessmen, in my opinion, more than they were DJs, because everything that they did was about making money. And I learned under them. So I would go into the crowd and I would stay amongst them and I would feel the crowd. And I would feel what they want to hear, what kind of audience we got tonight. I would say, oh, okay, so we got a bunch of B-boys in here tonight. So when I came on, or I felt like if the crowd was saying, well, when they gonna play this, when they gonna play that, that's when I would just step to the stage, and whoever was there, I go, I got this.
Okay.
And I'm sure Coke and Herc did that too, because Coke always gave it to the hustlers, you know, to the kids getting money. He knew what they wanted to hear, and when he felt it was enough for them in the house and they were the majority, or it was time to give them what they want before they leave, he would come and say, yo, Ken, I got this. You see what I'm saying? We worked as a team. You know, a lot of people didn't realize that. And then I'm in control of the most strongest mobile sound system in hip hop. And, you know, not for nothing, I come from the 9. I'm a tough guy. The area I come from is tough. And
what area was that exactly?
109th Street and Washington Avenue,
Okay.
world's famous 9. Okay? You couldn't come there unless you knew somebody who said it was okay for you to come. You know, people have tried to come through there and came in and left less than they came in, you know, not for nothing, but that's not me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to push a gangster mentality, but that's the area I grew up in. And, you know, we had fun doing this, you know. It was all good. But JC was patient. I taught him how to work himself into his thing, because his thing was a speed cut.
Yeah.
And at that time, you know, Flash was cutting fast, but he was nothing close to JC. The thing was good times back then. Like, instead of saying good times, boom, boom, good times, JC would go good, 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 good. But see, I was never a scratch DJ because, like I tell you, I used to mix in the crowd and I would listen to what they want. If you want to be a scratch DJ, that's okay, but do it on the beat. Your cuts every third cut can't be on time, because people can't dance to that. Now you're pissing off the people who paid the money to come in and dance. You follow what I'm saying? So the way I brought JC into it, I would say build into that. You give them a little 10, 20-minute show, but remember, they paid. And they didn't pay to come in here and watch you play and not dance. So you show your skill set, but then you get back to entertaining the party. You see, and that's what we was doing. You know, I would go to other parties, like I would go to the Black Door, or I would go back to Burger King where Starsky and them cats was, or go to the Dixie Club where Flash was at, which I never really did a lot. But you know, on certain nights we would be out together, Herc and us, and we would say, okay, let's stop through there. But they would shoot their load like right away. And then if they saw us in the crowd, it was like, oh shit, Herc and them is here. Now they throwing on their best shit, you know, and they done shot their load, and now we ain't even entertained no more. Yeah. We cut out. Because you don't know how to run this joint.
That's real talk.
You know, so, and like I said, back then, Jay came, I was looking at my exit strategy, I groomed him, I got him, I had set up these two little, because we had 1,100 techniques. Like, a lot of times, like this, you know, you'll see photos from us in the old days. You see us on those 210s. Everybody had those 210s. But I didn't grow up on that. I grew up on 1,100 techniques. What we had was equivalent to what you had in BLS, where I could take that and spin it 40 times, and the needle would never jump. So then one time I went to play at the T Connection, the first time I played there on the little 210s, and I'm trying to play like I'm playing on my shit. And that shit is jumping all over the place. I'm getting ready to break this man's fucking needles, you know?
I know that feeling.
So I had to calm down, you know, and then one time I talked to Richard T. God bless him, rest in peace. I loved Richard T, you know, back then. I said, Rich, can I bring my turntables here? You know, and then you'll see who I am. because I didn't grow up on these Mickey Mouse turntables. And I say that with no disrespect. This is the truth. Those 210s that anybody who, like JC said in his segment, he had to be careful because he's playing on 210s. Now today these guys are playing on stuff that's made to take the abuse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I played on stuff that's gonna take the abuse. If you see any film of me playing any of them 8mm that Herc got, you'll see me spinning records like this. Flash couldn't do that because that shit'll break. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just the truth. So when I played on that Mickey Mouse shit, I had to be very careful. Because I didn't want to put on a whack performance. So I did what I needed to do, get off that Mickey Mouse shit. But the day I broke my turntables to T-Connection and started cutting with no headphones, turning around backwards and spinning records 5 times with one sweep and catching the beat, then Rich understood what was happening. So we did the same thing at the Fever. The Fever, a lot of people don't realize, we were the first hip hop DJs to play in the Fever. Before Flash had, Thursday nights, we had Tuesday nights. And we went to the Fever, and again, they got those 210 techniques, so I go in there. By that time, I'm seasoned on that, so I know I gotta be careful. But we would play, and because I'm one of those little 210s, people would say, well, he ain't doing nothing no different than what Junebug and them are doing.
Yeah.
And so, again, Herc, talk to Sal. We need to bring our turntables in here. The night we brought our turntables in there and I went off in the Fever, somebody in the crowd yelled out, "Fuck Hollywood, cool Herc."
Wow.
And that's because, I'm playing on my stuff now. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, that's the truth. That's what happened back then, and I dare somebody to come and contest that. That's my truth. I experienced that,
What year was that?
This was I was 16 years old, so that had to be 75, okay? Because there's even a picture on Facebook where somebody posted me in the T-Connection at 16, and I could tell from what I was wearing how old I was.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
And once because wherever we went, my thing was I cut on time. My beats was on time. You could, from the time I start playing, you could dance from the first cut to the last cut. Very seldomly, my cut made your feet get out of line with the music. Because my job was to entertain. Because at the end of the day, I wanted to get in that back room and see how much money we made.
That's real talk right there. I ain't mad at that. So with all the new brothers in the game right now and in the culture, what message would you want to send out to them right now, letting them know that, look, you understand, I know what you're doing and we respect it because everything, revolves, but this is what we did and you should understand where it came from in order for you to be where you at.
See, I feel a little different about that. I think the brothers today know the history. Those who are seriously, taking this seriously, and those who are getting money, they know the history of this.
No, they really don't.
And if they don't know, they need to figure it out.
No, they really don't. Right. It's not that they don't want to, and that's the reason why I'm doing it. But you gotta look like we had a young brother that mentioned he thinks Biggie was overrated and Tupac, right? But he's 20.
Right.
They were dead about 20 years.
Yes.
So he don't know.
Yeah.
So he doesn't mean no disrespect because his OG is Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they really don't know, and they're not being disrespectful by saying what they're saying. They're only saying what they know.
Right.
And that's why I'm starting What's the Science, so we can put out there like, look, this is why y'all making this money.
Yeah.
You don't owe anything, but you do at least owe the respect to do your homework to know who the brothers was to pay to win.
Well, that's what this show is going to do for them. Because up until now, they didn't have this.
Exactly.
Because even what I see on the internet, even though I'm into what I do today, and I got my life going on with my kids, but I look on Facebook, I see a lot of misprints, and I see a lot of people jumping on bandwagons and claiming to be somewhere where they wasn't. And that's not to call nobody out, because see, I've learned from being around a good woman. A good woman always takes the path of least resistance.
Exactly.
And they always get what they want without a whole lot of drama. And I kind of like that strategy. So I take that strategy. It's not for me to correct everybody or chastise somebody because their facts ain't right. So I appreciate shows like this. you're giving them an opportunity to now get the truth from the people who was there.
You can learn if you want to.
Yeah, so if you don't know, look at this podcast. This podcast will give you history because we're the fellas who was there. You know, you ain't talking to I'm not telling you about something somebody told me or I read in a book. I was there. Yeah. See, I'm Clark Kent. I know there's this other guy out there claiming to be Clark Kent, but let's not get that twisted.
So hold on, this is the last question I want to ask you, right where you at. What is it that you would like to say to the other Clark Kent?
The only thing I would like to say to him is, first of all, thanks for the compliment, because when somebody copies you, that's the best form of flattery and the best compliment they could give you. So in that case, okay, I appreciate that he realized that, you know, he chose a name of somebody who's famous in the game. But at the same time, I've also seen and heard where he's rode the wave of letting people believe that he was me. I've never heard him correct nobody on that. You follow what I'm saying? If I took your name and somebody said to me, okay, are you Kayslay? I'm gonna say, nah, there's a real Kayslay. But I like the name, so I'm gonna carry it on in this game.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna claim to be Kayslay.
That one, okay.
And I've never heard that come out of his mouth.
Okay.
In any interview that I ever read or come across. So let's straighten that out right now. Okay? I'm Clark Kent.
There it goes. Yo, look, once again, What's the Sign Showcase, man. Definitely a beautiful day in hip hop. The original Clark Kent came through. I want to thank you, man.
Not a problem.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. Yo, the knowledge is here if y'all want it. There's no more excuses. What you don't know, you can now learn. And it's free. One.
Warning, warning, warning. The Drama King is in the building. The Drama King is in the